Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and this week's patch in Remnant 2 gave us a ton of newly buffed goodies to use in the current sandbox, and I've been having an absolute blast doing so. So I'm going to make a series of videos highlighting my favorite builds with the newly buffed items that I enjoy the most. And today I'm going to start off with the Prismatic Driver mod that is absolutely insane and honestly might be breaking the game a little bit. So you will probably see other videos, but this is just my personal take on the build that I wanted to use. Now keep in mind, for my build videos, I don't really dive deep into the prism system because I don't want to scare off anyone who might not have the right fragments, the right prism setup, or anything like that. You can use this build without all that. It just gets even better if you can add additional benefits with legendary prism mods. So just keep that in mind. I do recommend something like mod damage, skill duration, and skill cooldown as some good options, but otherwise just put on the best stuff that you have. Now for my build, I am going to use the Archon Prime archetype with the Chaos Gate archetype skill. This is going to give me a bonus damage and a lot of mod generation, making the Prismatic Driver essentially limitless, which is kind of insane. Also, the Summoner archetype as my secondary for that bonus explosive damage, and then also the Flyer minions, so they stay out of my way and maybe give me a little bit of extra lifesteal. Now, as far as the armor set, I am using the Leto Mark II combination, so that way I will have the heavy dodge as long as I am using the strong back perk, so that way I'm not flopping around, but I'm also able to tank a ton of damage. I personally have on Tranquil Heart. You can also use the Profane Heart for the lifesteal if you'd like instead. I just have this one on because it's just what I was utilizing at the time and I felt like it fit. Now, as far as the weapon, I am using the Trinity Crossbow. This is another one that was newly buffed. Maybe it doesn't fit exactly. You could use something like the Bone Saw, would be a lot of fun with this. But I did like using this just because I haven't had a chance to and wanted to break it out, even though it's been kind of sitting on the shelf for a long time. Prismatic Driver is the key though. Fires a superheated beam which deals 775.7 mod damage per second, sustaining a beam on a target, causing explosion, which deals mod damage in a 3.8 meter AoE. You'll see this when I'm taking out ads as they're exploding all the time. Toss on the failsafe mutator on that as well for additional mod damage, and then also a chance to not consume this charge. And because you're using it, because you have essentially 30 charges and it's ticking down, it's going to make it feel like you are never not using this. You can use whatever melee weapon. I toss on the Dark Matter Gauntlets. This is just for fun, but I don't really use my melee with this build at all. And then the Tech 22, another weapon that recently got buffed and is a ton of fun. I'm using it with Flying Bomb Trap. You could use the Nebula instead, or even Corrosive Rounds. That's another one that I've been using, but I don't get a chance to use a Flying Bomb Trap all that often, and I do want to be applying Corroded as often as possible for that additional damage. Feedback is the best mutator for this combination as well. As far as the amulet, you're going to want Echo Chamber for increased explosive damage and AoE size, which is nice, but also inflicting explosive damage applies exposed, which means the target receives additional damage. This essentially replaces the Monarch that you could use instead of this, so I do like this combination. Burden of the Silas, so reduced ammo reserves. You're not really using your weapons all that often, so it doesn't matter, as it's just not really necessary to have all that ammo. And then increases mod and skill damage, which is great. Increased mod generation and mod damage. Bonuses doubled against exposed targets. Again, we're going to be doing that fairly often. Blast and Cap Ring for increased explosive damage. And then I put on Soul Link. I've seen some other people have on additional options for more damage, but for me, survivability. You'll see it in the gameplay where I actually stay alive and I'm able to res both of my teammates in a gauntlet run on Apocalypse difficulty. So that additional survivability is important to me when I am playing in co-op, or if I'm playing by myself. I don't want to die. I also use Sanguine Vapor for my consumable, so that way I get even more of the lifesteal, which is nice. As far as the traits go, Fortify, Kinship, Strong Back, Vigor, Spirit, Blood Bond, Rugged, Barkskin, Leech, and then endurance, you could run Siphoner instead of one of these as well, and it would work out just as well. But I figured with Sanguine Vapor, I didn't really need it, so you can swap those around if you'd like. Now, jumping into the gameplay, it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, you're going to cast your minions right away, deal with the smaller adds with your Prismatic Driver if you'd like to. Then, once a bigger, chunkier, more heavy enemy appears, that's when you're going to want to drop your Chaos Gate and really focus with your Prismatic Driver after using your Flying Bomb Trap. So essentially, Chaos Gate, Flying Bomb Trap, and then you're going to use Prismatic Driver and just melt enemies really, really quickly and watch the explosive damage ramp up. It's really funny. As long as you're staying on target and continuing to do damage, you're going to see those explosions kind of pop off pretty frequently. And for me, I'm just glad that we have this as a viable option, because this is one of those mods that I've long felt was just underwhelming in a lot of different ways. And so now we have a reason to use it, and it feels fantastic. So I'm a big fan of that. Definitely lean into the explosive damage playstyle. Plus, because you are exposing enemies and also corroding them as well, if you are playing in a team, if you are running a squad that maybe doesn't have those applicators, you are going to have them doing even more damage. That's one of the things I like about this build as well, is that you can help out your squad quite a bit while doing your own damage, which is nice. Just be careful, because with any explosive damage kind of setup, you are prone to be doing some team damage, which is why you want to have on the kinship perk. For sure, you can do damage to yourself and then also your allies as well, so definitely an important reminder there. But otherwise, yeah, this is the first of many builds that I'm going to be checking out. There's some other mods and weapons that I think are really fun looking that I want to check out, like the cube gun. I want to make a build with that. That's probably going to be next on my agenda. But let me know in the comments down below, what of the newly buffed items are your personal favorites that you are enjoying using the most, and you want to see me test out a build, either a build that you recommend me trying, or if you have an idea for a build but it's just not coming together. Sometimes that happens and you just need another input in order to make it click. Let me know in the comments down below. I will make a bunch of new videos on different options and see if I can mix and match and find new favorites as well, because oftentimes I've had that happen where I get inspiration from somebody else and then all of a sudden this awesome build comes together that becomes one of my favorites. And that's one of the community collaborative efforts that I enjoy the most about Remnant 2. Everyone is very helpful, everyone's willing to test out, try new builds and see what works for them, and I love that quite a bit. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video, comment, subscribe. As always, my name is Jopa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.